Did we just witness the most stacked episode of Raw ever? So the show starts off with CM Punk challenging John Cena to a title match at Night of Champions. And I gotta say, while the promo itself was really good, CM Punk, John Cena, mostly CM Punk in this case, I just am not feeling these rushed storylines. Like CM Punk coming into doing the match with John Cena, like it had to be done over the course of this year. But seeing it done in this way, similar to the way that John Cena, Randy Orton had their match at Backlash, it's sort of just for the sake of ticking off the match. There's no real storyline that sits behind it. And I guess nostalgia will bring this to be entertaining, but it's never going to live up to that 2011 Summer of Punk Money in the Bank feud with John Cena. And then we move on to AJ Styles and Chad Gable. And this guy, Chad Gable, is on a bit of a tear at the moment. He is having great match after great match at the Worlds Collide PLE event, and then lending his gear to El Grande Americano and being in his ear. So as a sort of wrestler slash background guy, he's actually doing a lot in the business right now. He's taking a few losses, but I guess that's okay. Like the fact that he's just getting screen time is great to have Chad Gable on the screen. Then we had the first round of the women's qualifiers for the Queen of the Ring. And there's a lot of storyline that goes into this one as well. You've got Liv Morgan and Roxanne Perez building up their animosity between each other as part of the Judgment Day. And then you've got Kairi Sane. She's coming back. She's been on TV now for, I think that's 3 weeks in a row. And then you've got Rhea Ripley, who isn't tied to one storyline right now, but she has many different ways that she can go. So she has always the title picture in the back, like if she ever wants to be in the title scene. Then she's got backstage stare downs with some of the new blood, the Stephanie Barquers, the Roxanne Perez's, the new ones that have come through onto Raw. And then now a bit of a interference from Raquel Rodriguez. And who knows, maybe that Rhea and Raquel can re-spark a feud that they had at NXT many years ago. But this match for the Queen of the Ring, it just had a lot going on. And I like to see the direction that it takes leading up to the women's PLE evolution. Then we had Bayley returning. So not only have we had superstars just having a stare down, a showdown, we've had new wrestlers breaking out and winning in pretty marquee matchups, but we've also had returns. And so Bayley returning to attack Becky Lynch after Becky had yet another promo for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. I mean, this title's getting a lot of screen time as well. And so it's actually elevated it and the people around it, and just adding Bayley into the mix is really making this title even more interesting. Then we had R-Truth returning, and not only returning, but proclaiming that Ron Killings has arrived, and then cutting his hair off on live TV. There was just so much going on in this episode up to this point, and we haven't even had the main event at this stage. And I got to say, just on R-Truth, I came out of Money in the Bank thinking that it was a work, and I was giving Triple H his props, but I was concretely told across the internet that Triple H had nothing to do with this work, and it was just the fans getting on WWE's back and making sure that their opinion was heard and bringing R-Truth, aka Ron Killings, back into the company. Then we move on to the men's King of the Ring first round qualifier, and we've got Sami Zayn defeating Braun Breaker, Penta, and Dominic Mysterio in another fatal four-way match. And again, this was crazy just to have this on Raw as qualifying match with the star power and the potential storylines coming out of it. And I think this is the right winner to have, because you probably are going to see Sami Zayn go all the way to at least the final being in Saudi Arabia at King of the Ring. And it might be the case that he doesn't go all the way this time. Sami Zayn has a huge following in Saudi Arabia. He's super over there. But it might be the case that they are saving Sami Zayn's huge triumph for Royal Rumble 2026. That seems to be the prevailing opinion across the internet about what is in store for Sami Zayn in 2026, leading to his own WrestleMania moment, just like Jey Uso had this year. Then we had the return of Nikki Bella, and for me, I watched the era of wrestling, which was when I was really into it, was sort of pre the divas of the Nikki Bellas era, and then subsequently, now that I've been back into it, Nikki's obviously retired, so I actually didn't watch a lot of her in the WWE universe, but I did watch quite a bit of Total Divas and the Bellas with my wife on E. That said, she's recognizable, a legend of the game for that particular era. I have no idea where this is going, but anything to elevate the women's division leading up to Evolution is welcome. And finally, the main event of the evening, Gunther defeating Jey Uso to win the World Heavyweight title. And I think this was the right option. And I know people aren't going to like it. People love Jey Uso. They love him in the arenas. The Reddits of the world have a little bit of a different opinion. But you've got to have kayfabe in the equation. And Jey Uso, as champion, has been pulled in many different directions, especially over the last few weeks, being involved in multiple storylines between defending his own title, the Seth Rollins faction, and having to defend not just the title, but others as well, like a Sami Zayn on multiple fronts, culminating in a main event at Money in the Bank where Logan Paul and John Cena put him through his paces. They worked him in a very WWE style, grind him down sort of work. And so Jey Uso coming out of that, you've got to have some continuity that Jey Uso was tired and hurt from that match, such that he's not at his best when he fights a guy like Gunther. And that's okay. And someone like Gunther is going to capitalize on that. And so it makes sense that he would win. And with this title in particular, it makes sense as well that it's not one that's being held for a year or held for multiple years. I'm okay with it being moved around a bit more. It happened a lot more when I was watching wrestling in the mid 2000s. And so I like to see it. And Gunther on the microphone, like, he showed up Jey Uso a couple of weeks ago. I'm sorry, Jey Uso super over with the fans, but in the stare down promo with Gunther just looked completely out of step, almost forgetting his lines, stalling, all that sort of thing. And Gunther was just all over him, and I like him as a champion. It's an unfortunate ending to this title reign. It's probably not going to go down as, coming from the WrestleMania match in itself, which wasn't a main event, even though he was the Royal Rumble winner. It's not going to be remembered super fondly. It did give Jey Uso his sort of crowning moment, but we got to move on with it. And Gunther is our guy. But that just wraps up what was a crazy stacked Raw. The delineation between Raw and SmackDown in terms of star power, because I look at this match and every single match had some heavy hitters or some really big time storylines. And I'm looking forward to SmackDown and going, what is going to happen there that can come even close to what happened on Raw? But we'll just have to see. And, these PLEs keep rolling quickly, just quicker and quicker. And Night of Champions, we've got possibly John Cena, CM Punk, and a threatening Seth Rollins with the Money in the Bank. I love how he's held on to it, not just on the night or on the Raw after Money in the Bank, that the Money in the Bank briefcase acts as a threat and can cause intimidation and distraction that impacts the title matches in themselves. So love where all of this is going. Huge episode of Raw. What do you think in the comments? Was it the right decision to have Gunther beat Jey Uso? Love to hear what you think. Let me know. Well, catch you on the next one.